Inside Indianapolis. Royal Rumble weekend putting Indiana in the global spotlight and driving big bucks into the economy. How Indy landed WWE's Big Three marquee events. Plus,
relax your arms a bit. Rock on.
How Hoosier-based virtual reality technology is helping Indiana high school students explore careers in orthopedics. And
wine flights are up 399% in searches. We also saw an overall increase in food and drink flight searches.
From wine to Hawaiian barbecue to kraut, we take a look at what's hot on Indiana's food and drink scene in this month's Trendiana. Inside Indiana Business is next.
From Indiana's business news leader, this is IBJ Media's Inside Indiana Business with Gary Dick. Presented by Elevate Ventures and Indiana University.
Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Mary Rachel Redmond in for Gary Dick this week. Well, Indianapolis again taking center stage, or ring in this case, to host a major event. This time, the WWE's Royal Rumble. A sellout. 65,000 fans jamming into Lucas Oil Stadium to watch one of professional wrestling's marquee events. The first of the WWE's Big Three coming to Indianapolis. We take a look at how Indy pulled off the hat trick, the huge economic impact, and how it's thrusting the city onto the global stage once again.
The road to WrestleMania begins at the Rumble.
These three marquee events, they've never really bundled these together in one deal. And that's what we were able to get. And what you get is $350 million of economic impact.
Indianapolis, in typical host fashion style, pulling out all the stops to welcome one of WWE's premier events. Downtown, decked out. Dinosaurs at the Children's Museum, rocking WWE belts.
He is the champion of the museum, and we like having him represent the museum, so we put a belt on him.
Home in a Starbucks store on Beacon.
The Indianapolis International Airport greeting professional wrestling fans at every corner. Up to 75% of those attending Royal Rumble in Indy are from out of town.
There are going to be people who are here internationally. There are families. There are people that are spending their vacations doing this. And they're going to spend money.
With everything she's got, with a code breaker.
The Rumble puts Indianapolis in the global spotlight once again. TV exposure alone in the hundreds of millions of dollars.
This is such a powerful platform to provide to the city. Netflix, the global nature, the social media reach of WWE, that it was exciting to all of us.
A new women's Royal Rumble record.
So how did Indy land the WWE's Big Three? 1. WWE President Nick Khan's impression of the Circle City after attending a Final Four here.
And he said to me, have you ever been to a sporting event in Indianapolis? Because they do it so well. Everything was so well appointed, convenient, the bells and whistles were all there. He said it felt like there was a big event happening. It was obvious anywhere you walked in the city.
2. Indiana Sports Corp President Patrick Talty used to work at WWE.
It was a great company. I loved every minute of it. Such a creative organization. Nothing was off the table.
3. Who's your big thinkers?
It's the people. I think the people there are both locally and globally minded at the same time.
And WWE not limited to big venues like Lucas Oil Stadium. This is a statewide deal.
All of that is in different sizes of venues because we believe that we want to find the right place to host the right type of event. And that's why we're not just going to be in Indianapolis. We'll be in Fort Wayne. We're looking at other spots throughout the state. So we can bring those different types of events to the towns, big and small.
For the first time in over a quarter of a century, a man has gone back to back.
And so that's that lasting impact. And that's what this partnership is doing, is it's leaving an impact and it's providing economic impact to the state. I think it's a win-win.
The miracle. The opportunity.
Gotta love it. Well, a different form of action in the ring, like this, bare knuckles style, could soon be coming to Indiana.
Dracus Duplessis, the plus 265 underdog tonight, taking on that man, the credentialed Robert Whitaker.
State lawmakers are considering a bill that would bring more martial arts events to Indiana. Events like the Ultimate Fight Championship Series. The UFC is a big sports tourism driver, delivering more than $25 million in economic impact to cities like Newark, New York, New Jersey. If the bill passes, it would create new revenue in Indiana through license fees and taxes. It's possible Central Indiana's newest event hotspot could one day host a big martial arts event. The $200 million Fishers Event Center opened in November and is already getting rave reviews from the likes of Caitlin Clark.
Had a lot of fun here tonight. Came to the Indy Ignite second home game.
The 7,500-seat facility not only hosting women's professional volleyball matches, but concerts, hockey, and other events to tie the Fishers community together.
People today, they want to live, work, be entertained in close proximity. They want all of those amenities nearby. We created a culinary environment with the yard in the district and all these new restaurants. So now they have somewhere great to eat out right in their hometown. The next thing is, okay, after dinner, where do we go? What do we do? And so creating this was just an opportunity to add a quality of life or an amenity that otherwise didn't exist here.
You can hear more on momentum growing in Fishers in this week's Business and Beyond podcast. From mouth-watering Hawaiian barbecue in Boone County to made in Indiana cider in Bloomington, this month's Trendiana with a treat for the taste buds when we return.
Here's what's making news around Indiana. Brought to you by the Indiana Association of Realtors. Indiana's 21,000 realtors. The neighbors you know, the experts you can count on.
We begin in Southeast Indiana at the River Ridge Commerce Center in Jeffersonville, where two very different business stories are unfolding. First, layoffs coming for more than 100 workers at a mattress manufacturing plant. California-based Resident Home shutting down operations at River Ridge less than 3 years after it opened. Ashley Home recently bought Resident Home, which own the Nectar and DreamCloud sleep mattress brands. On the flip side, growth in the healthcare sector at River Ridge. Ground broken this week on a new office and medical facility. It's part of a project that will be home to Landmark Surgical Suite, which is based out of Jeffersonville. In Southwest Indiana, new renderings of plans for Evansville's riverfront. It's part of the Ohio River Vision and Strategic Plan, which was unveiled last year. The new renderings focus on adjustments to accommodate flooding concerns along the river. Officials say the project could take up to 20 years to complete. There's a buzz in Warwick County after a beekeeping supply company was acquired. Melissa Schroeder and her husband are the new owners of Growing Success Bee Company. The Booneville store carries a variety of items for new and experienced beekeepers, and community members are invited to attend free classes.
Without bees, we have no food. So it's incredibly important for us to pass on all of this education that we have. We're just very thrilled to be able to be here and share our passion with others.
The store also manufactures woodenware for beehives. In the future, Growing Success Bee Company hopes to expand and host field trips. A Hawaiian-inspired donut shop is now open in Hamilton County. Mochi Joy was started in 2022 by a husband and wife duo with a passion for donuts. Through pop-up shops set up across central Indiana and a stint at a commercial kitchen in Noblesville, Mochi Joy quickly amassed a huge following. And that sweet success has led the couple to open its first brick-and-mortar store.
Hawaii has so many yummy desserts that aren't out here. And so we've just taking note of all of those things and trying to figure out like what would work in Indiana, what's more approachable.
And all the vendors we've met along the way too at festivals or just working with them at popping up at different places, we're having them have some of their goodies on our merch shelf too, which is really exciting.
The couple's new store is located on 96th Street near I-69 in Fishers. Mochi Joy has 12 everyday flavors of mochi donuts, along with other Hawaiian desserts and, of course, coffee. Now, a broader look at what's hot in Indiana's food and drink industry. Wine, cider, barbecue, krauts, cheese, and deviled eggs. All on the menu in this month's Trendiana. Yelp's Brittany Smith with more.
Every year, Yelp's data scientists reveal the rising trends to watch for in the food and drink world and beyond. And this week, we're shining the light on 5 of those trends and where you can find them across the state. We're kicking things off at Harmony Tea Shop in Whitestown. They have several other locations throughout central Indiana, and they're quickly expanding. Searches for Hawaiian barbecue were up 88% in the last year on Yelp, and Harmony Tea Shop is a great spot to find Hawaiian barbecue. Harmony is known for their poke bowls, boba tea, and the Hawaiian barbecue. And if you're going there to check it out, they offer everything from Hawaiian short ribs, shrimp, to barbecue chicken, just to name a few. The second trend to keep an eye out for in the year ahead is wine flights are up 399% in searches. We also saw an overall increase in food and drink flight searches. So we're going to head south to Friendly Beast Cider in Bloomington, Indiana, to get a taste of their cider flights. As more and more consumers are seeking out interactive food and beverage experiences, flights are a great way to answer that crave. Friendly Beast is a hidden gem in southern Indiana, tucked in the Artisan Alley building within view of the Beeline Trail. They make small batch cider using locally sourced apples, and the Yelp reviews recommend the flight to work your way through the range of sweet to dry ciders. They have 5 different ciders on the flight. And the tap room is open to all ages. Small snacks are available, and you got to check out their weekly specials and events like trivia. Next up, we're heading to downtown Indianapolis to Leviathan Bakehouse, which is just a stone's throw away from the Mass Ave district. They are known for their sourdough that is made in-house. With searches being up 47% for sourdough, there's no better spot to find it than Leviathan Bakehouse. They've also made our list of the best breakfast sandwich in the state, and you got to give credit to their sourdough for making it extra special. You can buy a whole loaf of the bread there to take home, as well as several of their other sandwiches, and the pastry case is a great spot to kick off. We recommend checking out their sourdough baguette. It's 22 inches of crisp, old-world bread with light crust and a soft and chewy center. Other favorites at Leviathan include their honey pistachio latte and the everything croissant. The next trend to keep an eye out for is sauerkraut. Sauerkraut searches are up 15% as more and more consumers are exploring gut-friendly foods. We've seen an interest in krauts and kimchis on the rise. Meta Gardens, based out of Indianapolis, is a great spot to try out some locally made krauts and kimchis. You can find them at the Bloomington Farmers Market as well as the Indy Winter Farmers Market. They offer raw fermented kraut in flavors like turmeric and apple juniper. They also offer 3 spice levels of kimchi. The owner is super sweet and great at helping customers sample and learn their way through the worlds of kraut and kimchi. Next, we're heading to Carmel, Indiana for Juniper on Main's popular deviled egg flight. Deviled egg flights searches last year were up 496%. The owners, Diane and Kevin, started the business with a desire to bring the decadence of Southern food to the Midwest. And one great example of that is the deviled egg flight. It's a showstopper in the reviews and also their top trending menu item. The flights change daily with various creative spins like corn relish or fruited topped egg flights. They really have some fun and creative spins on it. So every time you visit, you'll find something new. This is just a taste of the food and drink trends to check out for the year ahead. We're wishing you all a tasty and adventurous year on the horizon.
When we come back, how one Central Indiana high-tech company has its high-tech eye on Hoosier high school students interested in careers in healthcare. Check this out. Westfield-based virtual reality technology crossing paths with Hoosier students in what is considered the orthopedic capital of the world, Warsaw, Indiana. The goal, to help students explore a career in orthopedics. 8th graders in Kosciuszko County will soon be polishing and matching orthopedic devices up close and personal. Inside Indiana Business of Health reporter Kylie Veleta is here with more. Kylie?
Well, okay, that's right, Mary Rachel. If you want to get an 8th grader's attention, a brochure and not even a video, that's not the way to go. Woman-owned tech startup iXplore is using virtual reality to immerse students instead.
Oh, look, another guest. I'm so glad you're here.
The region's orthopedic initiative, OrthoWorx, wanted to think outside the box to attract teens to careers in orthopedics.
I had one young woman, she'd never been in VR before even. And when we did the events with Plug and Play, she came out of the headset and I just said, hey, how was the experience? She was like, I just can't, was that real? Did that really happen? Her eyes were as big as saucers.
OrthoWorx tapped Indiana tech startup iXplore to immerse students in virtual reality to experience what an orthopedic job might be like.
but even more importantly, why the people who love those jobs, to help young people understand the why behind that career and whether or not that's something that would be a good fit for them.
You're putting too much pressure in one spot. Relax your arms a bit. Rock on.
Students explore 2 trades on the manufacturing floor and, for soft skills, learn about entrepreneurship by launching an orthopedic startup.
For orthopedics in particular, because I grew up one county over, it was especially the fact that we were telling the story of a region that one county over I didn't know about growing up.
Was Clayton's knee implant made of titanium, cobalt, or aluminum? Choose the answer you think is correct.
And that's the idea, to open the door to an industry they may not even know about in their own backyard, a sector worth billions of dollars in Indiana's economy.
We have across the board seen that students are at that age, at any age really, if they see VR, I want to go try that. And so the next night at the Warsaw Area Career Center, we were full the whole night. I bet we'd had 60, 70 students through because they just, what is that? It's just something new and they love the technology and they're excited to try it.
While orthopedics is the focus of this project, the former teacher is on a mission to use virtual reality to help students explore careers in any industry.
That is something we find rewarding every single time is, watching a young person come out of the headset with that big grin on their face and say, boy, that's something that I think I could do.
And this soft launch is for students in Kosciuszko County with hopes to add surrounding counties next year and eventually go statewide. A couple of other health-related business news stories, starting with a major deal in the works at Warsaw-based Zimmer Biomet, the medical device company looking to buy Colorado-based Paragon 28, which specializes in foot and ankle orthopedics. It's a deal valued at more than $1 billion. Evansville-based Deaconess Health System is keeping quiet about its plans for a huge piece of land in northern Vanderburgh County. The health system purchased 77 acres on US 41, 11 miles north of Evansville. Deaconess says it purchased the land to ensure it's well-positioned for future services in the rapidly growing area of the county, but shared no specific plans.
That first story, the OrthoWorx story, that looks really fun. It's like a game, right?
And they do gamify it. And one really interesting thing is the virtual reality isn't just showing them the function of the job on the production floor, for example. And she mentioned this in the video. They're really leaning into the meaning, the purpose, the why behind the job. They'll hear from a college student who had a titanium knee implant. So they kind of understand why the job matters, too.
Technology is amazing. Great stuff, Kylie. Thank you.
Time now for our Eye on Education, brought to you by PNC Bank.
We begin in Montgomery County, where Wabash College has broken ground on a new community center in the heart of its Crawfordsville campus. The $64 million facility will feature a dining area, swag shop, game room, and upper-level event space. President Scott Feller says it will be a space to bring town and ground together for meetings and celebrations. The building will replace the 70-year-old Frank Hughes Sparks Center, which is expected to be demolished this spring. In Northeast Indiana, Dr. Robert Pepper has been named Huntington University's 14th president. Current president Cheryl Lynn Emberton is retiring at the end of the academic year. Pepper is currently at Messiah University in Pennsylvania. Plans for the transition will be announced this spring. And leadership changes coming at Valparaiso University. President Jose Padilla planning to retire by the end of the calendar year. Padilla has served as president since 2020 and led Valpo's 5-year strategic plan, which included eliminating 28 academic programs to put the university in a stronger financial position. Well, still ahead, a look back on Indiana's professional wrestling past.
Ladies and gentlemen, please meet the world's most dangerous wrestler, Dick the Bruiser. Hello, Dick.
The legendary Dick the Bruiser and his ties to Letterman. All part of a look at Indiana's rich history in the world of professional wrestling. Well, it's no secret the Hoosier State is well known for its love of basketball. But one Indiana school is home to decades of wrestling history in 9 different languages. The Jack Pfeffer Wrestling Collection features thousands of photographs, financial records, posters, and more. It's part of Notre Dame's Department of Rare Books and Special Collections. Pfeffer had a 45-year promotional and managerial career in professional wrestling. Some of the collection is digitized and can be viewed online. Now, a more in-depth look at professional wrestling's deep roots in Indiana.
February 5th, 1988 will go down in World Wrestling Federation history as a day of infamy.
Market Square Arena, the site of pro wrestling history.
Andre the Giant.
33 million viewers tuned in to watch Andre the Giant take on Hulk Hogan for the WWF World Heavyweight title on NBC. It would go down as the most watched pro wrestling event ever broadcast in the U.S., and it happened right here in the Circle City.
Doesn't like what he hears, and certainly doesn't like what he sees here in Indianapolis.
Professional wrestling has a long history in Indianapolis.
That it does, dating back to the early days of Delphi's own Dick the Bruiser.
Now we're right here. We're going to get our title back. We're going to get our belts back.
Dick the Bruiser, who ran a promotion here for many, many years and was the catalyst for a couple of big names that became wrestlers that became big names later on. Dick the Bruiser's WWA, which was based out of the fairgrounds, was a big attraction here in Indianapolis for a long time. But like many regional promotions, it went out of business, especially as Vince McMahon took WWE to a national and ultimately a global brand.
While Indy's hosted a number of big WWE events over the years, perhaps the most legendary of all, 1992's WrestleMania 8 at the Hoosier Dome.
WWE hosted WrestleMania 8 in 1992 at the Hoosier Dome. I was there as an 8-year-old boy with my dad, seeing Macho Man Randy Savage, who was one of my favorites at the time, win the WWE Championship. It was a big deal for the city. WWE had only hosted 2 WrestleManias in stadiums up to that point, and the city really got behind it. 62,000 people at the Hoosier Dome, which is likely going to be eclipsed now by the Royal Rumble.
And Lucas Oil Stadium on pace to set a record of its own.
They've already eclipsed the past Royal Rumble record, which was at the Alamo Dome in 97. They had just over 60,000 people. It's a really big deal for them to sell out a stadium that big for a show that is not WrestleMania. It's common for them to sell out WrestleMania at a stadium, but not the Royal Rumble. So it is it's going to be a huge deal, big moneymaker for the city. And I think it's a great start to this multi-year partnership that WWE and the Indiana Sports Corp have.
From the early days of the WWF to today's WWE, one thing is certain. Indianapolis will always be a city that knows how to put on a great show. That it does. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Inside Indiana Business. We leave you with this video from the Department of Natural Resources. We're one day closer to spring. Stay warm and make it a great week.